St. Paul is one of the most important and influential of all the saints. Many of his writings are contained in the canon of the Bible and have influenced the growth and development of the Church since the first century. St. Paul was originally known as Saul. He was a Roman citizen and a Pharisee. He presided over the persecutions of the early Christians. However, he was duly baptized and took the name Paul. Paul traveled the world, first to Arabia, then back to Damascus. He also visited Jerusalem to see St. Peter, who was the first pope, and to pay homage to him. During these travels, he preached ceaselessly, often drawing criticism and ire from those who rebuffed his message. After establishing his churches, Paul remained in communication with the faithful, often writing letters to answer questions and resolve disputes. The letters that have survived have become part of the Bible. It is believed that Paul wrote other letters, which were lost even before the Bible was established by the Church. Paul's writings are important because they provide good advice for how Christians should live. Paul traveled throughout much of Europe, particularly in Macedonia, Greece, and Italy. While preparing for a missionary trip to Spain, he was imprisoned in Caesarea by the Jews for 2 years. He traveled again, was shipwrecked in Malta, and was imprisoned for another 2 years for preaching in Rome. Despite these imprisonments, Paul continued to preach. In 67 AD, Paul was arrested in Rome for a second time, and this time he was beheaded under the insane Emperor Nero. According to John Chrysostom, Nero knew Paul personally. Paul is among the most famous, intelligent, and influential of the apostles. There are some who argue that he was the leader of the apostles, but this is not supported by the evidence. St. Paul is the patron saint of missionaries, evangelists, writers, journalists, authors, public workers, rope and saddle makers, and tent makers. His feast day is on June 29th when he is honored with St. Peter, although he is also honored on other days throughout the year. January 25th for his conversion, February 16th for his shipwreck, and November 18th for the dedication of his basilica.